So this is the episode where they hired the Doctor's daughter to play the Doctor's daughter, who would then go on to fall in love with the Doctor, who would have children with the Doctor, whose children would be the grandchildren of the Doctor, but also the kids of the Doctor. This one sends the conspiracy theorists into overdrive. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Kevin, I am a geek. You are watching Kevin the Geek. And we are back for a new Doctor Who review. And this one is possibly the most clickbaity episode ever. Maybe only tied with the Doctor's wife. Now, if you are new to the channel, please like the video, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Now, make sure you do stick around to the end of the episode where I will rank this episode by scoring it by getting 10 categories, a score out of 10, to give an overall score out of 100. But we need to talk about the Doctor's daughter. And, you know what, I'm going to start with Martha. Because Martha was basically superfluous to this episode. There was no need for her. You remove her from the episode and nothing changes. And I've said it before, I'll say it again, Martha has been done dirty. Now, if you haven't seen my review of The Planet of the Ood, then that's an episode which I mentioned in that I feel Martha would have made more sense being in that episode than being in this episode. Now, you could argue and say that the reason Martha is in this one is because of the whole hand thing, and the hand and the TARDIS, takes off without them acknowledging it, and so she kind of gets trapped on board. She was going to leave. I don't think it would have been that hard to change the reason for Martha coming on this trip to just say, yeah, I want to take one more trip with you, Doctor. There would have been no issues with that, really, considering especially that she has effectively moved on from the Doctor, and that was the whole reason that she wanted to leave him and leave the TARDIS in the first instance. So, yeah, for me, if you use that as an excuse, that's a very, very lame excuse. But the reason Martha would have done better in that episode, and I mentioned it there, is because of the fact that it deals with, well, slavery. And Martha being a companion of African descent, there would have been some really good opportunities to delve in that. Because racism and slavery and things like that, they don't really get brought up, at least so far in modern Doctor Who. And obviously, I know they do eventually do a really dedicated episode to that, the Rosa Parks episode when you have Jodie Whittaker's Doctor. But up until this point, we've not really had anything. And there was a bit of a throwaway line in the Shakespeare Code where Martha spoke that, that she was black. And obviously there was some lines said by Shakespeare that could be a little bit dodgy. But that's really been it. And, I feel that Doctor Who, its original purpose was to be fun and adventurous, but also educational. And that could have had a really big impact, having Martha in that episode, dealing with the human race who, in the far-flung future, are going back to their old colonial ways and colonizing and, enslaving races. So that would have worked out well there, because in this episode she does nothing. She was pointless. And it really annoyed me because I really, really like Martha. Donna, though, I thought was pretty damn good in this one. But again, she didn't really do a lot. Obviously, she did the figuring out at the end with the whole date thing.
The first number I saw back there was 60120717. Oh, look at the date today.
0724. No.
What does it mean?
7 days.
That's it. 7 days.
Just 7 days.
What do you mean 7 days?
7 days since war broke out.
And that I thought was really, really good for Donna. And obviously she had a, she was almost like a nudging kind of role in this one to Doctor, to make him see sense a little bit. But beyond that and a few comedy quips.
Let me distract this one. I have picked up a few womanly wiles over the years.
Let's save your wiles for later. Case of emergency.
Beyond that, Donna, again, didn't really do a lot, but at least what she did was a lot better than Martha, who was basically monologuing and crying over Peck, the fish alien that drowned. Although, I will say that in my head, my logical head, I am of the belief that Peck didn't die at that point. Because obviously it's a fish type thing, and I think the whole reason he's got the tank thing in the front, I think that is to enable them to breathe on land. But he's in a sort of a water, a marsh rather. So in my head, I think he might have survived that. But then obviously he might have died again when the top layer stripped out and he became exposed. So, you never know that. But yeah, speaking of the Hath, they were fine. They were an interesting design, but beyond that, again, they didn't do anything. And because they didn't speak, there's not a lot to them. So you take Martha out of the picture, you just need a couple of little clips of them, doing the same thing and finding their way along the passage to get to the source, and that's all you need from them. Now, the actual humans, they were alright. Again, there's not a lot you can really say with them. They were just fine. General Cobb at least had a little bit of character. And the other kind of main one was... I don't even think I knew his name, but I know him as having played Chris in the first 2 series of Skins, a teen drama thing that, I kind of watched when I was in college. And again, he was marginally better than most of the background stuff, but that's what it was. It was very marginal, because the focus of this episode was the Doctor and his daughter, Jenny. And I really liked what them two had as a dynamic. And I'm very annoyed that up until this point, Jenny has never returned. I don't know if she's ever returned in some of these like Big Finish audio dramas. If she has, let me know. Yeah, for me, not having Jenny come back into the show at large, and the fact that you made her a Time Lord, even if Georgia Moffat, or Georgia Tennant as she now is, even if she doesn't want to return to it, then bring someone else back. You can do that. She is a Time Lord or a Time Lady, And okay, they haven't technically shown her to regenerate, because that was the thing. The end of the episode, when she came back to life, I don't feel that it was regeneration. I feel that it was the terraforming thing. For some bizarre reason, that, that's what brought her back to life. But, yeah, Jenny was really, really good. She provided some really good opposition to the Doctor, both from a physical sense and a metaphorical sense as well. And she was able to bring some really good stuff out from David Tennant as the Doctor. I will say that the ending didn't hit me emotionally. I don't feel that because I don't think we spent that much time with Jenny. Like had it been Martha, for example, in that scene, and Martha got shot and Martha died, even if she'd been brought back to life, you would have been like, holy shit, we've spent all this time with Martha, we've grown to love her as a companion, and now she's dead. And it came out of nowhere. Whereas with Jenny, we've basically had, 30 35-40 minutes with her. That's it. And I think it worked, the emotion that David Tennant portrayed as the Doctor. But just for me personally, I don't think it really hit me in the way that a lot of emotional stuff often does. And I'm never ashamed to admit it. I am a crier at a lot of TV shows and movies, and even a couple of books from time to time. But that one just didn't hit me. And I also didn't buy the fact that the Doctor was going to shoot General Cobb. Like that, it was a nice moment, don't get me wrong, and it was a nice way and a kind of a pulling the rug out of fans. And it probably did make some fans fall for that. But no, I knew that he wasn't going to actually shoot him, which for me just undermines the ending of it just a little bit. And I have to talk about the music as well a little bit, because there was a really nice moment where they did the subtle underscore, from the Time Lords song. I can't remember what it's called now. The one that they brought into Series 3. It was a slightly altered arrangement of that. So it wasn't the big kind of really bombastic thing. So it was more like a simple melodic line. But it was really effective, because it was during that whole scene where they were, the Doctor was kind of saying what it means to be a Time Lord.
And it's gone now, all of it. Gone forever.
What happened?
There was a war.
Like this one?
Bigger, much bigger.
And you fought? And killed?
Yes.
Then how are we different?
So yeah, this episode, it is a fun one. It is enjoyable. It does some really good stuff. But it is very much a filler episode. And that's a shame. It's a real damn shame, because I liked Jenny, and I wouldn't have mind having her join with Donna for the remainder of this season, even if Martha didn't want to stay in it. I think she could have added a nice kind of extra dynamic, and maybe if they'd killed her off in the Dalek two-parter, at the end of the season, that I feel probably would have given us more of an emotional beat had we had maybe even just half a season with her. Yeah, don't think there's anything more I can say on that, but of course I do have to rank the episode. And like I said at the start, there are 10 categories that I use to give a score out of 10, to give an overall score out of 100, which is what I use to help me rank my episodes. So, let's see what my scores are for The Doctor's Daughter. And there you have it. So The Doctor's Daughter scores 68 marks out of 100, which means that it is a B- rated episode. Like I said, it is a fun, rollicking adventure, and I would say that, take away the clickbait aspect of it, it's really damn good, but there are a lot of issues with it that really needed tightening to make this a top tier level episode. But what are your thoughts to The Doctor's Daughter? Please drop them in the comments below. And remember, if you are new, please make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Now, the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who is coming up. And I have a lot of plans for the month of November when we get to the 60th anniversary month. If you have suggestions of things that you think I should do, whether it's a reaction, whether it is a review of something, whether it is a ranking of something, whatever you would like to see for the month of November, please drop them in the comments below. But until next time, my name's Kevin. I am a geek, and you've been watching Kevin the Geek. Goodbye.